What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Viloncito, and I'm back at y'all with another video. Now, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, man. I just came to the conclusion that I'm never satisfied with however, the video turned out. I done sat here and recorded videos for 20 minutes talking to y'all, like trying to get this video pushed out. No matter how this video turned out today, man, I'm finna just get this one uploaded because I've been trying to get so much stuff right, man. Like, my whole idea is pushing out quality over quantity content, but in reality, y'all, I need to be pushing out the quantity because I haven't hit the algorithm yet. I haven't been consistent. Like, my last video was uploaded on the 5th, and I told you that I was gonna be way more consistent in that video, but I had life stuff going on. But man, I'm going to be more consistent. We're gonna get these videos uploaded, but I know y'all just here for the game, so that's what we're gonna talk about today. And I'm gonna get straight into this video, man, because like I said, I've been trying to record and talk about it and get this video pushed out for so long, but we just gonna be talking about how, my knowledge of money has helped me be in the position that I'm in today. I'm almost finished with university, man. I'm in my senior year of college, and it went by so fast. So I'm just gonna talk about some of the things that I wish I knew that would have helped me mitigate some of the stress that I was having during, specific periods of my life. Now, the first thing that I, did is understand the position / dilemma that I was in. I knew that I was gonna need money to ultimately go to university if this was something that I wanted to do. And back then I was calculating how much it would cost looking at, 4-year universities. And I was like, man, all the money that I had generated year to date from my job that I was working in high school from my sophomore to senior year, it didn't amount to anything. I'm like, we looking at a 6-figure amount and I didn't have nowhere near that. So I ultimately knew right then and there, like, my dilemma was I don't have money. And so then I asked myself, how do I get this money over the next 5 years to fund my life if this is something that I really want to do? And no one could ever undermine the value of money to me. It's something that's so important. Like, you need it for everything. Even as a little kid, you couldn't tell me that money isn't important. I knew it. And I knew that I would need money to have my education if that's something that, I ultimately wanted to do. So I looked at the dilemma that I was in, and right then and there I said, okay, I start asking myself, well, how do I get this money? So I start researching, start learning. I learned almost everything I could know about my university, about the college, the scholarships that they had available for freshmen, all of this stuff. So I started applying for these scholarships internally and externally. This is something that, if you a freshman, you can get on. And also, that's my first tip. Scholarships don't stop, after your freshman year. Keep applying, bro. Like, my sophomore year, for having a 3.5 GPA and, being in the university, I was getting money. My junior year, almost the same thing, getting money. And there's also external stuff that just be on the back end, but I was applying to stuff externally like Qdoba and Taco Bell thinking I'm gonna get money. But you trying to get money somewhere. But so that was something that I did. And also just, I understood how to maximize myself. The situation and circumstances that I was going through, I maximized them to the best of my ability. When I'm filling out fast for, I'm going off my own income. I am a black student. I am, all of these things. So I'm putting all of that down to try to get, as much money as possible so I can understand my financial aid package. And that's going to be my next tip. Understand your financial aid package if you do receive it. If you are somebody that, is Pell Grant eligible, when you do get these loans and, have that amount available to you, understand that if you're taking out these loans and everything like that, you got to pay that money back because that stuff is real debt. Like, unless you just don't care, but they gonna get that money regardless. Because one of the biggest things that I learned is student loan debt is real, bro. Like, I'm talking to my family and everything like that. People still paying some stuff off 20 years. I'm talking to people who, still can't get their stuff paid off. They can't pay their loans off and they getting their checks garnered, all of that. So understand that that's real debt. And if you do plan on taking these loans out, you got to make sure you're getting them their money back. And so that's what I was doing at this point, trying to maximize myself, maximize my financial aid package to the best of my abilities. I was looking at institutional and external scholarships to get the most money possible to just lower my overall cost. That was my whole goal at that point. Get to my first year with the lowest amount of cost possible. And also, me knowing that I was a freshman, I knew that I would have the most scholarship capability at this point, because like I said, ultimately when you are a freshman, you get things like booster scholarships that help you towards, you know what I'm saying, tuition and everything like that. That's what I received. And also the other thing that helped me the most, I had a check that was saved up from my grandmother, Lord rest her soul, man. She was so smart about how she did this process, because I didn't even know about this money until I was 18 years old, getting ready to pay for my first year of college. And that money that she had saved up still has been helping me to this day, you know what I'm saying, pay for my schooling and be where I'm at today. But the money that she had saved was in an account that's called a 1099 tax account that I said that I couldn't touch until I was 18. And any money that I spent from that account that wasn't used towards education would be double taxed to me. So it was smart. It was used to just enhance my education. So that's why that's something that you could utilize right there. If you plan on having children, if you plan on, you know what I'm saying, putting money away for whatever in your family, later date, you could utilize a 1099 tax account. Also, you could utilize like a Roth IRA, any savings account that's like high yield that generates some form of interest from monthly deposits, things of that nature. I ain't gonna tell you about stocks or bonds because I don't do them. Like them, that's not my cup of tea. I don't got money to play with. But so that was ultimately what helped me lower my cost my first year. And my initial thing was I wasn't worried about money. I wasn't tripping about how I was gonna pay for school because I thought I was gonna do pretty much the same thing that I was doing, you know, in high school, balancing track and field while being an athlete, or excuse me, by being a student. I was wrong, because my initial perception was I was gonna get to university for my fall semester, get acclimated, chill for a little minute, and start working again. Then the spring, that wasn't what happened, because once the spring came, we traveling so much, and no job will hire me because of how bad the availability is. And when I'm in the dorms, I really wasn't spending money at all. Like my food is covered, everything is covered. I ain't going nowhere. I'm not traveling. I was so focused on, you know what I'm saying, just getting acclimated my first year. Now my sophomore year is where some of the biggest tips that I'm gonna talk about were implemented. I was told, you know, getting up out of the dorms and everything like that from some of my teammates that were upperclassmen, that once you get out of the dorms in the fall and spring, you get refund checks if you know what I'm saying, exceed specific amounts. Like if the amount of aid that you receive for the year is going to be more than the cost of, you know what I'm saying, the schooling for the year, you're going to get money back. But the biggest thing that I learned with these refund checks is you can't splurge on dumb stuff. I was seeing people around me spending their refund checks on just the dumbest stuff possible. And at the end of the day, bro, you know, if that's what make you happy, that's what make you happy. But I was thinking, like, how do I maximize the position that I'm in? Knowing that the easiest thing for me to do is pay my rent off, because I'm gonna have to be burdened by something that's due on the first every month, which is $550, or it was at the time $500, but $500 every month, right? And that's what I was thinking in my head. As opposed to when you looking at being in the dorms, that money just paid off immediately. You not even looking at 500 going. So it's a little bit different. But I realized, like, I can use this refund check, pay my rent off. And I was working at the time when I was working at this industry plant for the summer. And I'm thinking, I got all this money saved up. My rent gonna be paid off. What's next? It wasn't really nothing next. I just had to keep working, because I knew ultimately that I wouldn't be able to work once school started, and that I would really be relying on the majority of the money that I had saved up. Because after that refund check, that's, you know what I'm saying, September, like mid-September, I wasn't expecting any additional income to come in until somewhere around like January, because that's spring. Spring refunds get issued out around there. And I was looking at it for the same amount to do literally the same thing, pay my rent off. And so that's what I was doing my sophomore year. I was using refund checks to pay rent off, and using the money that I had saved up for every other day expenses like food and everything like that. And, you know, I couldn't work after that, and I haven't worked a job since, because my schedule for classes and everything like that never aligned up to, you know, me being able to get another job. But also during that point, I was trying to figure out how to cut and mitigate some of the cost of living outside of the dorms that I had to my leisure of being in the dorms, i.e. being on the meal plan. Like, my food was covered when I was in the dorm, so I wasn't worried about food. I wasn't worried about things like laundry, none of that. And so I learned about food stamps when I was working from somebody that I was chopping it up with. He was just telling me like, bro, if you see how, the prices is high right now, get on food stamps. I applied and I was getting only at the time like 80 a month, which was still something. But for those 2 months that I got that 80 a month, I was just buying all my proteins and stuff like that. And so that's also something that you could do if you're a student and you want to get help with food and everything like that. You could apply. And so that's something that I did. Now, at this point, once I started working, I told y'all, if y'all watched my last video, that I got injured around my sophomore year. And I'm thinking, at the time, track was a hindrance to me, is what I thought, because I was so upset. I was so frustrated with the sport that I thought that, I was really just going to become a regular student and pay off the rest of my schooling for like the next 2/3 years, getting a full-time job. Ultimately, that's not what I did. I'm still, an athlete, but that was what was going through my head at the time. And I was just falling back on some of the money that I had with my stuff saved up, and some of my family was supporting me at this time, just helping me out with whatever I needed. And so some of the stuff that, I learned during this entire time was just how to budget, save, and live below my means. That's literally all. That's the smartest thing, and the best things that I was doing at this point. I wrote down every expense that I had. I wrote down everything that I spent, everything that was going to come to me, so I would know that there's there's nothing that I didn't know about that I had to spend. Anywhere money was going, I knew where it was going. That's my biggest tip to y'all. And I'm all over the place, because every time it's always something else that's coming to me. I could say this, I could say that, but really that was one of the biggest things for me, was writing down every expense, knowing where all my money is going, monitoring my accounts, all of that. And so my family was helping me during this time, and ultimately it's still that's where I have been at since then. And I told y'all in my last video that I have a trip coming up, and this is where one of my biggest pieces of advice in this video will be, is understanding that student loan debt is real debt. Now, I told y'all, if you get financial aid and everything like that, you can maximize your package. Understand that, you can get a specific amount of federal sub and unsubsidized money to your leisure. Now, college is advertised as money, make it almost seem like it's damn near free bread. But like I said, bro, you want to make sure you're paying them off when you can. This is what I've been telling myself this whole time, because this is going to be the first loan that I'm taking out. And my whole financial goal is just literally going back to my first step, is understanding my situation / dilemma. I know that I need this amount of money because of, one, I had to make sure that I'm paying off my ticket to the country that I'm going to. I have to make sure I'm covering expenses for whatever food, travel, whatever is going on out there. I need money for that. I have to take care of 2 summer classes. I have to take care of my rent being paid up front, all of this stuff. And I asked myself, well, how am I going to get that money? Not working, not being able to get a job because of my time constraints. I can't fulfill the requirements. I'm getting ready to leave in a month. I can't work in the summer. So what do? And ultimately, I just boiled down to getting a loan. Now, the only reason why I'm so comfortable taking this loan out is because I'm thinking it and looking at it as a investment for my future. I have to go abroad. It's institutionally required for me to get my degree to go abroad. There is no getting away from this. I have to pay the money. And also, I'm looking at it as an experience that can enrich my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting to a point where I'm going to a culture that I've never been before. I'm going to a new place that I've never been before, getting new experiences. This is going to be my first internship, stuff like that. So it's really a positive experience for me. And ultimately, I told myself, looking at all of the times that I didn't have and to be able to work semester-wise, in this fall coming up for my senior year, I have Monday, Wednesday, Friday, no class. I still got my track obligation, but I also have Saturdays and Sundays off. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I could be potentially, at a job, getting revenue. And the amount of money that I took out and the type of loan that I took out ain't even nothing crazy. I took out, a sub loan that doesn't accrue interest while I'm still in school. And I might not even be out of school till 2027. So I got all this time to be able to work, stack up, and get them their money paid off and then some. That's my whole goal. If you're gonna take out a loan though, just go for the sub. Don't go for the unsub. The unsub is gonna be, you know what I'm saying, getting you interest accrued while you're still in university. Nobody wants that. So those are some of my biggest tips, man. Understand the dilemma that you in / situation. Why do you need this money? You know, what's going on right now, every expense, everything that you owe, going to owe, will owe, like all of that. Budget, maximize yourself, live below your means. Never stop applying for scholarships, no matter what. Even if, you know what I'm saying, you're a freshman, keep applying. You're going to get something. And yeah, you know, if you want to put money up on the back end, put money on the back end. If you can work. If you can't, you know, look at external things with family. If you ultimately do have to take out loans to help fund your education, though, be smart and make sure that you get that money back to them. And that's ultimately, you know what I'm saying, everything that I've been doing up to this point to help me, you know, be successful and minimize as much debt that I'm going to have to come out. Because I'm really going to get out of here with nothing, no debt. And that's been my whole goal from the start. So, but I hope y'all learned something from this video, man. My bad if I'm jittering and all, man. It's early morning. I'm ready to get to it. I'm finna go get on this run. Gotta get all this energy out, bro. But yeah, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Like I said, man, we're gonna be way more consistent on this channel. I just need, you know what I'm saying, the outlet and just the confidence to just upload. Because once the content get out and I hit the algorithm, man, I know that I'm gonna get, you know what I'm saying, a lot of support from you guys just from tuning in. So with that being said though, man, I ain't got nothing else for y'all. Thank you for tuning in. Keep taking care of yourself. Call your family, tell them you love them. And until next time, I'm out. Peace.